Go live. IDCwoodcraft.com.
All right. I was so scared it wasn't going to start there for a second. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the IDC Woodcraft chat. Tonight we've got a special guest here. I'm going to go ahead and introduce him since he's sitting here in your face. Greg Goedert from STL Woodworking.
Hey.
We've got the big boss man, Garrett, up here. Keeps us, going crazy, but no, I'm just kidding. And then Miss Julianne here keeps us all in line. She does our administrative work.
Welcome, and that's Liberty.
To the IDC Woodcraft show. Yeah, I'm Liberty. I'm a creator with IDC Woodcraft.
All right. So, hey, tonight we got Greg from STL Woodworking tonight. You all, if you've been hanging around, you've seen him in the thread, and this is the guy that kind of screws up our donation thing all the time, and costs us a lot more money whenever we do donations. Speaking of donations, we'll have Liberty say hello, but and after that we'll have Julianne explain about donations, since I just brought it up. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking. Greg is really good with epoxy. He's going to be talking about Avid CNC machines, right? So this is where you're getting into the pro level machines. And what else was it? I had it all in my head.
Whatever, anything.
His new chat.
Yeah. Okay. and anything else. So bring your questions on. Question marks in front of your questions so Julianne can make sure you get in our queue. All right, she is watching everything. She's going to be putting links in as we talk about things that require links. And anytime me, Liberty, or Greg ask her to do something like put a link in, and that's when we all take a drink. So have your drinks ready, whether it's water or something more liberal. Go for it. Okay, so Liberty, say hello to a few folks, and then we'll switch over to Julianne real quick. She'll give a quick lowdown on where we're at business-wise, and then how the donations work. And then we're going to start opening the floor, and we're going to talk about CNC with Greg and some other things that he wants to share that I think are really good for you to know. All right, Liberty, floor is yours.
All right. Seeing some familiar names in here. Two Towers Art. Welcome back to the show. We've got Wandering Star. We've met him a couple of times in person. He's a regular on the show here. Welcome back. We've got Marcus. Hola from Mexico. Hell yeah.
Mexico.
We've got Michael Parker from Wilton, Maine. I was just in Maine last week. It's beautiful. Hot, but beautiful. Oklahoma City, 105 degrees for Doggone Productions. That is insane. I feel sorry for you. I do not envy you at all. Welcome, Sean from New Jersey, and everybody else. I've seen United Kingdom. I've seen Toronto, and we've already got questions popping in. And welcome.
All right. Very cool. All right.
Yeah, Liberty in the dark. Sorry, my lighting's kind of limited here.
Yep, and we'll talk about IWF here shortly, because we saw that. I just saw that comment about someone asking about that. As a matter of fact, Julianne will share about that now, along with the donation thing and what's going on with the company. So Julianne, the floor is yours, sister.
All right, let me do a quick rundown for everybody. Yeah, so we're still waiting on internet for the new building. Unfortunately, I have temporary stuff not scheduled yet, but I should hear back on scheduling for it. We're gonna get those fun little drive over mats that keep the cord from being like, I guess, mutilated across the driveway gravel.
Yeah.
So there's that. On the donation note, let me just show you guys. This is the easy version if you've got a tablet or you're watching on your phone. So this lovely YouTube chat has this tiny little $sign right there. And you poke that, and I'm dropping everything. And that is where you can donate however much YouTube will allow you to donate. I just lost my pen. It's a hot mess over here, you guys. As far as scheduling for the coming up International Woodworkers Fair, IWF, we will not be attending that one. I'm very sorry. We will actually be at the tail end of IWF coming in for the CarveCo user group meeting. So Garrett and I will be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll be out. But we've recruited Greg to go around at IWF for us.
Nice.
So you will see him there the whole time. You will see some other familiar faces that we've had on our show there. Just keep your eyes open. So yeah.
So, so the CarveCo meeting is right after that in Atlanta. So we will be to that. Like Julianne said, we will be to that. We talked about going to IWF last minute and opted out of it. So, and Greg, you'll be at the CarveCo meeting as well too, right?
I will be there the first day. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Super cool. As far as donations go, real quick, Julianne, tell them about what happens with donations and whatnot.
Well, it's not just us going out to eat. We appreciate those of you that donate toward our food and drink funds. But most times, all of the donations, IDC Woodcraft does indeed match. So everything you guys give, we give as well. We have many different nonprofits and charitable organizations we support. The list keeps growing ever longer. It started off with Garrett donating to St. Jude and Missing Alexis, and then it just like steamrolled down into Disabled American Veterans, Purple Heart Project. There's so many other like veteran military ones that we've donated to. Folds of Honor, which helps the families and spouses.
The one woodworkers one that like sets up their shops, the something Moses.
Oh, Katz Moses, yeah, his group that helps. Yeah, there's a lot of good and giving in this community, and this guy, like Garrett and Liberty said, always throws us for a loop with his generosity. So. But yeah, you guys follow suit, and you're up to the challenge. So we definitely welcome any and all donations for sure. It goes to many, many, many good causes.
Yeah.
I found another good cause for us not just a week and a half ago when I was on the trip. So we continue to add to the list.
Very cool. And you will be called out if you give a donation. We do give you shout outs. All right. Well, let's, with all that, Greg, why don't you give your 2-minute cliff note of who you are for, and the things that you know in CNC?
Yeah, sure. Obviously y'all see my name on there. I own STL Woodworking. It's a local woodworking business here in North Georgia. Also have a YouTube channel I've had for a few years now. It's not a huge one, but it's still me. I do a lot of CNC work for companies that you don't see on YouTube and stuff like that. Just production work. I do a lot of epoxy tables. It's kind of my favorite thing to do. I do build furniture. Do some coaching in some communities. Yeah, that's about it. And get on here. Oh, I'm a paramedic by trade.
All right.
That's my
there you
job.
go. So, okay, so you do work for like businesses. What kind of work do you do?
Usually just manufacturing different products. Do some work for some other YouTubers that don't manufacture their own stuff and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. For those of you who want to do business, that's actually a really good avenue to go down, where you find other creators who are in business and make stuff for them. Right. And so you're basically, what's the word? You're producing for them because they either don't have the time to keep up with everything, or they're doing the smart thing and buying other people's time.
Yeah, it's usually because they don't have the time. They get bigger on YouTube and they wind up not having the time to produce the products that are still selling for them, but they just don't have any time to make them anymore.
Right. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting the way that works. So there you go. And speaking of business, so when it comes to business, I'm going to go and bring this up first before we start diving into CNC stuff, because this does relate to that. When I have found that, Greg, you can just check me on this, about 60% of people who get into CNC have an interest in starting a business. Is that about the right feel from you?
I would say, if not even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things when it comes to business is, especially if you're coming out of the workforce, business requires a different way of thinking. And we talk about it here and there on the channel. Andy Bird has a program out to teach about business. But the interesting thing is, the CNC business does not, if that's what you want to get into, does not start with your CNC. It starts up here. Like I've said this so many times, all business is up here, right? It's a mindset, and you got to get yourself into that. And Greg shared with me, with us just before the show, something I didn't actually realize you were doing. And had I known, I'd be like all over this, right? Folks, I want Greg to share a little bit about what this is when it comes to learning about business, and why. I'll talk a little bit after that about the idea of investing in yourself.
Sure.
All right. So, all right, Greg, talk about it.
Yeah. So I guess for a couple of years ago now, Matt Outlaw, some of y'all may follow him, 731 Woodworks, him and a gentleman named Nick. They had the idea of creating this community to help people get going with their woodworking, start a woodworking business. The people who wanted to go from hobby to actually making money, and then on to making it a real business. I'm friends with Matt. Early on, he recruited me to come in and help because of my ability to scale. And that's kind of what my forte is in there when it comes to just scaling a business. And that part is CNC related. And I also do epoxy coaching as well as CNC stuff in there. But Matt and Nick have different areas that they are experts in. And we kind of split things up between the three of us. You basically, you go to a school community, you become a member, you have access to all three of us. There's a community we've got like around 500 members that are constantly talking, throwing ideas around. We have all kinds of resources in there to help you with pricing your stuff, to help you with YouTube, to help you with Instagram, Facebook, marketing, just you name it. We have, I'd say hundreds of hours of stuff in there, as well as the ability to talk to us once a week on a live call that we do for all the members as well. It's a really good community. You can, I think Julianne's got a link. Oh, wait, I get to make people drink. Julianne, will you throw a link to that in the chat?
I already did, but it's still a link.
Yeah, so I think we're still doing the 7-day free trial. So you can come in. Granted, there's some of the resources you don't get access to in that trial for obvious reasons, but I think you'll quickly see what kind of community we have. And I would say our conversion rate for people joining is way up in the double digits, probably 60 or 70%. And if you know anything about conversion rates, that is phenomenal. So, yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to learning how to do a business, right? A lot of times people will try to do it on their own, right? They'll make a bunch of projects that they think are cool, then they take it to some show or something, and it flops. And they have a whole box full of things that they made, and they don't know what to do with it. And a lot of that has to do with understanding about business and understanding the marketplace and what the marketplace wants and where they hang out at, and having the patience to work with it. So, you know, the thing that Greg offers is a paid thing, and they've got a couple levels, and it actually can feel really pricey up front when you're going to the higher levels, because it's one of those. I remember the first time I paid my mentor, right, and that was a hard thing to swallow, but I understood that was an investment in here, and I trusted it, and I kept paying mentors, and I have spent a butt ton of money on people teaching me how to the business mindset. And I was out of town over the just the last couple of days. Went to an entrepreneurs group, and they ran us through a thing. I don't know if you've heard of this book, 10x is easier than 2x when it comes to business. Well, it's through the guy that wrote that book, and they had to sit down, and they said, write down your progress of when you've 10x'd your business and all the steps that you took and what your revenue was at each time, what was the time frame. And by the time I was done, 4 years, I 10x'd IDC Woodcraft. And when I got that, a couple things hit. All that mentoring paid off. That investment was it was chump change compared to, you know, the returns on investment and all that. And it also let me know that kind of guidance gives you the ability to achieve those kind of results in such a short period of time. All right. So I highly endorse. I know Greg. We've known him for a couple of years, maybe almost 3 years now.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I know where he's going. I know his drive, and so even though I just learned about this, I would endorse it right off the bat. If he's involved in it, then I know that you've got some good support. So we throw Julianne threw the link in the chat. It'll be in the description. All our links will be in the description. So we'll do another live show when it comes to business again here soon. We got a schedule laid out. Later on, we'll talk about Hamilton and then who we got coming on over the next couple of weeks. All right, well, let's dive into CNC. And what do you see in the trend of the questions, Julianne? Where we want to start out first?
I was gonna say, I think we'll start off with epoxy, and I think they actually threw the questions out there in order for us. We got epoxy questions first. We got some carving questions after that, and we'll just roll with it.
All right. Okay. All right. Greg, what CNC machines do you own?
I have the Onefinity Elite Foreman, which is a 4x4 machine. And then I have the Avid 4x10, which is the pro level machine. Okay.
All right. Well, let's start off with epoxy. Let's start off before we hit questions. Julianne, what would be your first question to Greg when it comes to epoxy? What do you think?
Well, I've already asked him a lot of questions on epoxy already. He's like the go-to contact at this point for like if I have a random like epoxy question. But I would have to say based off the epoxy companies that you use for a hobbyist that doesn't have a dedicated shop, how do you suggest they start off a deep pour?
Same way I did in my living room.
Okay.
Seriously, I started my first pours in my living room. Even went as far as to buying one of the mesh nets and hanging it from hooks in the ceiling where I could lower it down over the table so fuzzies and stuff didn't blow in it. And again, y'all y'all know I use Super Clear exclusively, and it's no VOCs, so I don't really have to worry about. I mean, it does have a smell. Obviously, it's resin, but it's not going to be super harmful to you, and any little ventilation will work. So yeah, that's where I started doing mine.
How do you define a deep pour?
So it depends on what you're using, but I would say anything a 1/2 inch or greater is going to be a deep pour. There are levels above that, obviously, but anything over a 1/2 inch, or you probably could honestly say anything over a 1/4 inch is actually a deep pour.
Okay. You would not recommend someone dive right into a deep pour first? Or would you?
I mean, I wouldn't say no. I would definitely reach out for some advice before you do, especially if you're going to do a deep pour that's going to involve a lot of volume. That's where people typically get into trouble, is deep pours that require a lot of volume.
Okay. Liberty, what would a good first question for you be?
Like for me to ask him about epoxy?
Yeah.
How do you make it shiny?
Sanding and polish, or more epoxy.
Fair enough. I'll just keep polishing.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to be able to elaborate on that here in a minute, because I did see a question that's probably going to allow me to elaborate a little bit on that.
Right.
This one up here is up far enough away from eyeballs that you can't tell how not shiny it is. I gave up.
All right. Okay. So my question, Greg, would be, since I have not ever touched epoxy, is what would be your suggestion to me for someone that's like going, okay, I want to make some really cool stuff for epoxy, but I've never touched it before. All right. At what, but I'm going to watch the videos and stuff that talk about it and getting the training from right people like you. But where, in the epoxy world, I guess, first of all, do you see a lot of people that, like in CNC world, where a lot of people get their CNC machine, and then the first thing I want to do is these 3D projects and these real complex projects, and they want to, just jump off the diving board, do cliff diving before they even figure out how to go swimming.
Right.
So in the context of that, do you see that with people who want to get into epoxy?
Yeah, all the time. They'll get in my opinion, the wrong epoxy. They'll try to do something. The most common one I'll probably say that I get asked how to fix is somebody using tabletop or art resin to do too deep of a pour. That's a big problem.
When they get too deep of a pour, then they get the reaction, right?
Yes. And I did it. It's so funny because I knew this would come up, and I knew I had to do some epoxy before I came on tonight. Mm-hmm. So I purposely left 12 ounces in a cup and threw a glove on top of it, and then got the temperature of the glove after about 30 minutes.
Okay. It
was smoking at about 252 degrees.
Wow.
Because I was using tabletop epoxy, and it was about 1.5 inches deep.
Okay. When you say tabletop epoxy, that's the stuff that you would pour on a tabletop?
Yes. It's for very thin tabletop pours. Yes. Okay. Nothing more than a 1/4 inch.
Steel coats type of thing.
Yeah. Explain what a reaction is, the exothermic reaction.
Yeah. So that's the way epoxy actually cures. It's supposed to do that. It's just not supposed to do it really fast. And when you have too big of a volume, going back to my deep pour with big volume, if you have too big of a volume with the wrong type of epoxy for that volume, you get a flash cure, which is an extremely fast exothermic reaction, and it can cause it to melt stuff. And I would say I've never had a fire start, but hey, I've always heard where there's smoke, there's fire, and I've seen epoxy smoke.
Okay.
Plenty.
And then you can also get the bubbling that freezes in it too, right?
Yeah, it'll instantly freeze in it because it does literally a flash cure, and it cures in minutes. No time for any bubbles to escape, and it will usually completely crack.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Well, let's dive into a few questions here, Julianne.
All righty. John K. How do you guess how much epoxy you need for each pour?
The volume question.
John, you answered your own question in the question. You guess. Yeah, I know what he's talking about because you can usually calculate it. It's pretty easy to calculate using a epoxy calculator. But sometimes you have pours that are going to be smaller, and or if you're doing like a tabletop, it's hard sometimes to calculate random things. And it's truly just a guess, John. It's experience, getting it wrong a whole bunch of times and realizing that that's too much, and then just scaling it back. Learning process will cost you a little money in epoxy. Yeah, it's a guess.
You can always have some project to the side that you've like cut out, and then you're just like, I have this extra epoxy. Let me just pour that in there and see how it looks.
I do that. I actually have these little skull things, the little candle holders.
Mm-hmm.
And no joke, I have them sitting in my epoxy room. So as I have too much epoxy, because I always mix more than not enough, I pour the excess in there. And they create some cool looking little skull candle holders that I'll sell them if I'm at a fair or something for $1, $2 a piece because they're just wasted epoxy.
So have yourself a backup mold for whatever excess you got.
Yep.
For
Yep.
something. Okay.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna throw this one in since we're on the topic of molds. Jero Grady, have you used silicone to make your own molds?
No, I haven't. You absolutely can if you have the time to do that. I don't. If you have something specific that you're wanting, yeah, absolutely, you can do that. It'll work just fine.
Okay. I have a question, and that is, say you're carving something in oak that you want to epoxy. Oak is quite porous, or pine, whatever. So how do you protect yourself from the epoxy bleeding?
You can seal it with either epoxy, or I use most of the time. I actually don't use epoxy on just small projects. I'll use it on tables. I just seal it with shellac.
Okay.
Just de-wax shellac. You can seal the area, and you'll be good.
That's actually a common thing that we run into as a brand new CNC creator. You'll make something in pine, and you'll do a V carving or something, and then you'll paint the letters or spray paint the letters where you got them covered up with the ore mask, and peel away the ore mask, and you notice you get all this bleeding going on along the grain. And you always need to think of wood as a bunch of straws packed together along the grain, right? That's how wood moves the water through the tree. So you always want to seal it. He uses shellac. I use that clear coat, that Rust-Oleum clear coat. Liberty's got, she likes to use, what is that really fast setting stuff? Lacquer. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Robert wants to know, can you epoxy on metal?
Good question. And full disclosure, I didn't know the answer. I saw your question earlier, and I actually texted Alan from Super Clear and said, hey, dude, I've never even thought about this. The answer directly from Super Clear is yes, you can. They do suggest that you seal the metal with tabletop epoxy first before doing any kind of deeper pour on top of it. And also do not pour it in a cold environment, which is kind of counterintuitive if you're wanting it to slowly cure. You want it to be room temperature or the metal to be a little bit warmer. It'll adhere better.
So you want your base material, not the epoxy, but whatever you're pouring it onto, to be what, 70, 75, 80?
In this instance, yes. In a deep pour, no.
Right. Okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
All right. Derek is asking, does the wood species make a difference when using epoxy, and what's the best type of bit to surface the epoxy?
So the first part, no, it doesn't make a difference unless you are pouring colors. But as long as you're doing the sealing ahead of time, you don't have to worry about it. Like he spoke of the straws, some woods like oak have open pores. The epoxy will get into those a lot faster. So as long as you're sealing, no, doesn't matter what type of wood you're using. And the best bit to surface is going to be a surfacing bit. You can do it with any end mill, but obviously it's going to take you longer if you use like a 1/4 inch. So yeah, any surfacing bit, but the key to that is it's not the same as wood in the fact that you can't run the same feeds and speeds as you normally would, or you are going to chip your epoxy like crazy. You need to run slow. The RPMs are fine to keep them like you would on wood, but your speeds, your feed of that needs to be slow. You don't need to burn, but you need to be slow, and that'll give you a nice smooth surface as opposed to chipping everything out.
Okay. So with that, does it create dust like it might MDF might?
Yeah, it's epoxy dust.
Okay.
It can be a mess.
Okay. Hey, y'all, I just want you all to say hello to our sister Kate from Women Who CNC. What's going on there, Sister Kate? She's another person who's done a ton of epoxy work too. So she's got a lot of guidance and advice she's given on the live show as well. And yeah, I just went to see her not too long ago. Actually, she wasn't home, so I swung by her house anyway and just said, "Hi, Kate."
So she has texted me about some true crime documentaries not a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I'm not a missing person, Kate, I promise.
Her story is like Ellen's. So you go see Madra in the comments. That's Ellen. She's very much a regular here and one of Liberty's best friends whenever they're at a show together. And their business stories are both very interesting as to how they walked into their businesses. All right, next question.
Okay, I'm going to throw this one in here because it kind of follows up on the surfacing bit question. Why would you use a 1-inch surfacing bit opposed to a 1.5-inch surfacing bit? Are there advantages or disadvantages?
My personal opinion, I don't think so. I think using the largest bit that gets the job done for me works. Maybe Garrett knows a different circumstance, but no. I mean, if you got a smaller machine, 1 inch might be all you need to be using with that machine, depending on your spindle router or whatever. But if you've got a robust spindle, as big as you can get, that will get the job done. Is my opinion.
Yep, Greg pretty much answered it. And speaking of surfacing bits, when you're talking small machines, you have the little desktop machines, right? Where they have the 1/8 spindles. They can't handle even a 1-inch surfacing bit. But there were no 1/8 shank surfacing bits out there. So I talked to my tooling company. I said, we're going to use the same ultra smooth design that we do with the inch and the 1.5 inch. And we're going to make one with the 1/8 inch shank. So now we have, if you have a desktop machine or a 1/8 shank spindle and you can't get any bigger than that, then IDC Woodcraft is the only one on the planet. Unless somebody else has come up with something in the last year. So Julianne will link that for you. And it's actually kind of cute. It's just like this little baby surfacing bit. I'll have to go get it. But Greg answered the question overall. It's the way I would answer it too.
Okay. On that note of starter machines with the tiny little desktops, Doggone Productions wants to know, what's a good starter project for someone who wants to try epoxy?
Honestly, a charcuterie board is a really easy. As a matter of fact, when I was teaching epoxy at Woodcraft Chattanooga, that's what my class was. It was just a simple river charcuterie board. So very, very low barrier to entry. You can use cheap wood, just get you a couple of little small live edge things, make you get you a rectangle mold. That's all you need. It's just a rectangle mold and then some epoxy. And you can get and some whatever mica powder you want to use, whatever color, and just pour you a little small river charcuterie board.
Yeah. I just want to jump back in about the surfacing bit. So here's the 1 inch. Just bring me up here, Julianne, for just a second. There's the 1 inch ultra smooth surfacing bit, right? So I had this design modified from your standard 3 flutes that you find out there. So it works, it gets a much better surface, right? So anyway, here is the one for your 1/8 shanks machines. So very cool. It works very well on those machines. All right. That's all I wanted to show you.
It's so cute.
Yeah,
It's adorable. He was actually, I believe, just getting in a lot of the stock because you still had some 3-flute ones in whenever I started,
Okay.
or
Yep.
triple cutters. I don't remember if they were samples or what, but
Did you ever get to use one is the question, Liberty?
I
Oh,
don't
what-
think so. I don't
what
think
is-
so.
No.
Yeah, I think I've used our newer model once on the 1/8.
Gotcha. All right, Wandering Star, who we were just talking about this morning. I think your ears were burning. What is the best way to estimate the amount of mica or other colorant to put into the epoxy in order to get a solid color? 1 ounce to 1 pint or 16 ounces of epoxy. It looks different when mixing versus when it's cured.
Yeah. So the easiest way, as far as just telling you that there's no way to know for sure, but the easiest way to do it is get you some water in the same depth that you're planning on pouring what you're pouring, and then put some mica powder in there or whatever liquid you're going to use for colorant, and stir that up and wait and get your color that you're looking for with that same depth. That will translate pretty doggone close to what it will look like when you mix that same amount in epoxy. Keep up with your measurements of what you're using, or you'll still be at square one, and then just mix it in the epoxy, and you should be pretty close. You don't have to worry about going too much with mica powder in epoxy. I mean, it's astronomical how much mica powder you would have to put in to cause an issue with the epoxy curing. It's you would never put enough in to do that.
Cool. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So, Mike Whitney, question for Garrett. Did you get a chance to read the book I sent you, which is the book that's laying on my coffee table in my office?
Yes, I looked at the book. I responded to your email. Yes, I read the book.
That was.
Yeah, he had an interesting thing with a skin injury, and not pretty. That had to be a challenge. What do they call it? Necrosis. He had necrosis going on. Greg, you know what that is.
Wow, yeah.
Very familiar.
Yeah. Greg is also a paramedic. He's been a paramedic by career, folks. So that's, yeah.
That was an intense book, Mike. I had to hide that from our little mascot when she was in my office. She comes over with this book, and I'm like, no, not today. All right.
I can just imagine the questions now.
Oh, thankfully the book didn't open. We're good. All right, Tim. Can you guys show me how to pocket around a board 14x8 and leave a name and 2 hearts from clip art raised on top of the board? Sounds like a cute project.
Yeah, it's actually a fairly easy project to do. Right, we're talking a pocketing project with letters, and you're just carving around the letters. I could actually probably whip something up like super quick on that, but I have to launch my Vectric. So just to get it straight on this question, asking, they basically want raised letters, and the rest of the round board would be lower than the letters. Is that what I'm understanding?
I think so. Otherwise, it would be a 3D carving. So I'm assuming that's what they're talking about.
Okay. All right, we'll come up with something real quick here.
Okay.
All right, I'll do a quick show because this is really easy. Actually, quite an easy project to do. The thing to take into account here is work holding. If you are going to machine the entire surface all the way out on a round piece of project, then you can't have clamps on the top, right? Because you're going to cut into the clamps. Or what you'll do is you'll do all your cutting work, and then you'll profile out where the clamps are not. So if you have a square piece of wood, but let's just go with a round one. So I'm going to just create a round 10-inch project. And let's just get that guy centered in right there. And then we're going to create some words. So we're going to say CNC. And close that. And where did it put it in at? I don't even know where to put it in at. Okay, let's try that again. Now we're going to click right there, and we're going to type in CNC. Oh, I hit close. Okay. And first thing to take into account that you want to be aware of is the size of your bit relative to the size of your text. And what I mean by that is if you're doing text that is has sharp corners in it, just like this guy does, where it's got sharp corners in that end, a round bit is not going to give you a sharp corner. And so I'm just doing a quick setup here. So when you do your rendering, then you will notice that if you're using like a 1/4 inch. I'm just going to use like a 1/4 inch end mill on this so you can see. All right, so I've got this round piece of board, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to CA glue hold this project down. That's right. So there's no clamps on the top. It's all held on the side, or I'm going to use cam clamps, or I'm going to use nylon nails or brad nails, anything that's not going to hurt my CNC bit. And essentially, this is the piece of material with the lettering. What I'm going to do is I am going to create a circle that is actually larger than the circle that's there. And I would go, maybe, I don't know, 1/4 inch out or whatever, just enough that the bit will go all the way outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what we call a profile cut. And I'm going to use that outer boundary I just created. So this part of the circle right here is the end of the material, the round material. This is the outer edge of the cut that we're going to be doing. So the router bit is actually going to run off the end of the material. And we are going to, I don't know why I did that. I've kind of noticed that Vectric likes to jump my projects around in weird ways. We're going to do a pocket cut, and I'm going to select the 1/4 inch end mill. I'm going to set my depth to a 1/4 inch. We are going to select the outer circle and the lettering, and then I'm going to calculate that. And it says it will cut through the material, so I must have made my material too thin here. So we can go back and fix that. We're going to close that and go up in the upper left corner, upper right corner where it says set. And yeah, I was using some very thin material. So we're going to say that's 0.75. And I changed that there. And now it's rerun that. Oh, there's the other CNC. That's why I did that. I got to get rid of that. All right. And so now you can see, this is a very rough tool path that I just did. When I preview it, and so there it is. Remember, the round material is smaller than what is actually been cut. So that's it. Super fast, super easy. But you'll notice I'm using a 1/4 inch end mill. You cannot get that corner in that letter like that. But one of the things, Greg, I think you would agree with this as well. I got it in my screen share here. So. Okay, is sometimes as creators, we focus on the details. We're perfectionists. And remember that if you're creating something for somebody else, they're seeing the whole project. They're not looking at that. Oh, look what you did in that little part of the project. They don't see that. So sometimes you got to tone yourself down and say little imperfections are okay. All right, there you go.
All right, so for those, some of you in the chat were like, the link gives a 404 error.
Sorry about that. And I should have known. I literally just texted Alan and said, what's going on? So it's because of the website change. If y'all didn't know, Super Clear redid their website and changed it. When they changed the address, it messed up all the affiliate links. The coupon code for 5% off still works, but you're just going to go to superepoxysystems.com. All one word, superepoxysystems.com.
We'll
I'm
plug
sure
that
Julianne
in.
will type it in. Oh, yeah, and
I'm
just
working on
you can still use the code STL and you'll get 5% off. But yeah, sorry about that. I completely forgot they redid the website.
Okay. A quick note. Billy has asked, how can they show their pictures here in the stream, in the chats? You can't do that on YouTube. YouTube won't let you post an image.
Okay. Where are we at? There we are. We're to Dale. I want to get started with epoxy. Is there a series of videos or a course that would get me going?
Yeah, I have some videos on epoxy. If you just look at my YouTube channel, I have several of them. A very specific course on epoxy outside of that community we mentioned earlier. I do have some courses in that community. I don't have any specific course. I will say Super Clear has some really good ones on their site that have some really good videos talking about different epoxies, different types of epoxy. So it works good.
Okay. We've linked his YouTube channel in the thing. And again, it'll be in the description. I'm going to step aside for a second. A couple things I want to announce. So Onefinity, if you're still looking to upgrade your machine, get a bigger one, or you're still in the market for a CNC, Onefinity right now is still running their summer sale on their Gen 2 machines. And you can select any of the 3 sizes, and it comes as a bundle. And so Julianne will link that so you can see what the bundle is for that. So I also want to know, is there anybody new on the channel here tonight? Or if you just got your CNC? Because Liberty and I and Julianne and Greg will all do the happy dance for you.
We haven't done a happy dance in a long
We
time.
haven't done a happy dance in a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Julianne, talk to them about Make Timber.
Make timber. Well, I can't give you too much detail on it because not this Wednesday, not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, that second day of September, we will be having Hamilton on. Now, some of you may recognize that name. He is the CNC files guy. Now, Make Timber is coming up. I don't even have the creatives ready for it yet, but it is definitely going to be a month-long project stuff. All sorts of things happening every single day in September. So we're a part of it. There are other people that are a part of it. It's just like a conglomeration of everything. I'm actually got the box in my truck I need to send to Hamilton. But yeah, it's something that you guys don't want to miss.
You don't want to
Definitely.
miss it. No, no.
Make timber is a lot of fun. Always is a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
Exciting.
anybody new here?
Let's see. Mike Daughtry, new from North Carolina.
Going on there, Mike?
He
Awesome.
popped in there.
Who else we got?
I'm not seeing anybody else, but we do have a donation from Pascal for $50, thanking us and Greg for his time and all the great advice.
Thank you, Pascal.
Yeah,
And
thank
for
you.
our brother who's new here, yeah, okay, happy dance. It's all right. And you can see next to Liberty is the IDC Woodcraft official mascot, her daughter, Jay, who likes to beat me up all the time.
Mhm.
Does fairly new count? We have a fairly new Florida Poppy.
Poppy, you're not new.
Neither is
He always wants to
Jack.
dance.
There's Jack. Yeah. And
Jack
Poppy is
always wants
funny.
to dance too.
Poppy is actually in that community. He is one of our very successful members in that community I spoke of earlier, Sawdust Startups. He's got a lot out of it. Garrett's new.
Oh gosh, you guys. If we just want to dance all night, we can do that. There's no problem. We'll dance through each question.
Totally good.
Oh,
All right. Let's rock on.
Moving.
You wanted to talk about Avid a little bit.
Yeah.
So, folks, we're going to shift gears from epoxy for a bit because so Greg runs pro level machine, which is the Avid. And Avid actually is an interesting machine because you can configure that to virtually any size you want. So go ahead, Greg. What do you want to share about Avid? This is for you folks who are looking to seriously upgrade, get into your serious pro level machines that are built fully production work.
Yeah, it's kind of the same type thing as looking at, your smaller hobbyist machines and where they land compared to the bigger hobbyist machines. It's the same type thing with Avid, because you've got Avid, you've got Shop Saber and all those big machines. Avid is the closer entry level machine to those big machines that can do just as much as they can do, which is really cool. And it's funny that Garrett mentioned you could configure that thing. Real quick, if y'all are not familiar with where my Avid came from, it kind of goes into my little story here. If y'all have ever seen or followed Jay Bates, I actually got my Avid from Jay. Have become really good friends with Jay, and me and my wife were on a road trip a few weeks ago, and we actually went by Jay's house, and he's got a new Avid. He's shown on his channel now. He's got a 5x12, and he's also got the new Pneumatic spindle, which I fell in love with when I helped him put his machine together. So I actually have one that should be here next week because I needed it. And I also got their new ATC, it's 12 position ATC. And what Garrett says, you can configure it to be any size you want. Mine's a 4x10 right now. Well, to put that ATC on, it takes up 2 feet of space. And I also have a rotary. So I don't have 2 feet of space without dropping my rotary. So I am actually adding 2 feet to my machine to be able to do that. And that's the cool thing, is you can start off with a 4x4, turn it into a 5, 6x4, 10x4, whatever. You can just continuously add to it without having to buy a whole new machine.
Okay, just as a side note, so folks, for those who don't know what an ATC is, it's an automatic tool changer. In other words, you have multiple bits pre-stationed on the machine, so the machine will go back and actually change its own bits. It's a much more efficient way of doing it. And then he talked about pneumatic spindle. So pneumatic spindle gives you the ability to have your tooling pre-mounted in like a Cat 5 type of holder, and you can just swap it out real quick by hitting a pneumatic button. It will release the valve and unlock that tool, as opposed to you having to use a wrench much faster, but you have to have a compressor for that. And also that enables the ATC to work as well.
Yep, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a good. I was so jealous when I was helping Jay put together his machine. I was like, now I gotta get one. But
I might have to step back in and order that ATC for my own mill. I ordered one, then I canceled it but maybe I will. I'll have to let someone like Greg talk me into it.
I mean, I never said no to the ATC.
I know you didn't. No,
I never said no to that.
That was my call. Yeah.
It's great, especially if you're going to do production work. I mean, you don't think about it, and this goes back to talking about business, but your time is worth everything. Yeah, so if you're running a lot of stuff, even if it only takes me about a minute, maybe 2 minutes to go change my bit, when you take that over an 8-hour day, over 5, 6 days, 7 days a week for a year, add that time up. I promise you will more than pay for that tool changer or whatever that thing you might need to help save your time is with your business.
Yeah. Rich is saying get an ATC. He's telling Julianne. And if Julianne says, Garrett, you're getting ATC, then the deal's done.
I just said no to the Shaper Origin. I didn't say no to the
That's what I was thinking about.
ATC. I mean, I put my foot down on a lot of things, but mainly I want to see how it works.
Yep. What else do you want to share about the Avid?
It's an awesome machine. I mean, if you're in a hobby machine now and you're thinking about upgrading, just the speeds that you can run and still get good finishes is just amazing, just because of the stability. I mean, it's designed for that. So it's just an all around amazing machine when you get to that level. And with that level, I do a lot of bit testing with Garrett, and I do a lot of the testing on my Avid when I do that. And one of my goals, Garrett knows what it is. Once I get done testing, what's my goal? I try my best to break the bit.
Yep.
I try.
Yep. I want to see where that bit breaks at.
Yeah.
What's the horsepower on your spindle?
Mine is a 8.7.
So his spindle's about this big around, and it's like this tall.
Yep. And the new one is going to be 7 horsepower. The new one is just as powerful, but it drops it down to 7 horsepower. And mine's also 3-phase as well.
Okay. All right. We're going to go back into was there anything else you wanted to share about anything else before we dive back into epoxy and CNC questions?
No, I'm sure something will come up if.
Okay. All right. I want to put it out to the community. So I have a list of videos, a long list here. And so I want to get your vote on what you prefer I create content on. So you can pick 2 videos from this list right here. And what we're going to do, Juliana's going to track that, and she's going to basically put all this in order. So the videos are a video on mold. I want to do them all, but molding toolpath, the fluting toolpath, tiling toolpath, triple stack text, which my buddy is asking me to do, that point carving. What is that called again? It's like a bunch of dots, and the dots are different size, and based on how they're grouped, they create the appearance of an image. One of our
photo V carving.
It's not V carving. You do it with a V carve tool, but it's not a V carving. It's basically a bunch of dots that are created.
Pointillism, I think, is what it would be considered or close to.
It's the art type, yeah.
Yeah, it's a type of art. So let's see, we got triple stack text, a point carving, which is really cool. So it's like an image, and just the density of the dots and the size of the dots, how they're placed creates the density. You got rotary, a tapered hole. I've been asked that quite a few times. 2-sided project, setup for production, which is something that I would talk about as far as machine, and then G code. So good. We're getting some good data here. Several of these are going to require me to sit down and learn, right? So basically what I'm doing is I'm putting this out there. We're going to get this list together. And I was telling Julianne today, I says, you are going to tell me what I'm going to do, and I'm going to commit to the team when this is going to be done for the videos. So it's time for me to get back in the video making. I've been out for several reasons, and one of those was because I was dealing with chemo and radiation for a while. Getting some good input here. All right. Well, while that's up and they're still entering that in, let's go ahead and hit the next question. Let's go ahead and leave my screen up for a minute.
Okay.
So I'm seeing mostly 2-sided and tiling.
I know 2-sided is winning right now.
Is
it? Yep. 2-sided, then tiling, then triple stack.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll go through the chat again later. let's throw some questions up here to ease my little hash marking pain.
Yeah. And if I'm missing something, then tell me what it is. Put it in here so I can get it on my list.
All right. Okay. So where am I? I am over here. Okay. J. Marcus, how do you get that perfect finish with epoxy? I've done about 5 projects with epoxy and I can't get the perfect finish. I've tried buffing, sanding, and polishing.
So yes, that is the answer. A lot of it. You got to keep in mind when you're sanding, you need to at minimum, and I'll tell you what I typically do. You need to sand the epoxy normally, like you would up to about 400 grit, 320, 400, somewhere around in there. And then around 600, you need to start wet sanding. You need to wet sand all the way up to a minimum of 2,000 grit. I go to 5,000 grit. And then after you've done that, you need to polish. You do not have to buy epoxy polish. You don't. Any automotive polish will work just fine. do your normal cutting compound, although most of the time you don't need the cutting compound, but just do a normal cutting compound and your polish, and you will get a crystal clear, completely crystal clear finish. Now, having said that, if you want to also, you can do a flood coat. If you've got a table or whatever and you want that type of shine and you want that tactile feel, remember, it is epoxy, so it's going to be a smooth feel. If you're wanting wood grain feel, you're not going to get it. But if you want to do that, you can do a flood coat, and that's basically like you're doing a tabletop. You just flood the whole thing. It goes over the sides, and then that you don't touch it after that as far as sanding. It's just the epoxy. Hope that helped.
Cool. Is it good to take this down now, Julianne?
Yeah, I think so. I was marking as we were going. Oh my gracious!
Ooh.
Blaze said creating your own gadgets. I am not.
I was going to pull that one in.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
We'll do a whole video on the V-carve gadgets.
Yeah.
Yep.
All righty.
I'm slowly but surely learning them piece by piece as I need them. You know what I mean? Like I've learned them to a basic degree, but like utilizing them into projects, I have yet.
Yeah, the one I want to make, I don't know why it's such a stupid little idea, but I think people will fiddle with it. I want to use the spiral gadget, and I've played with it before. And I want to do a thick project where it starts at the top, and I'll do it with a ball nose, and it'll spiral down a hill. And just put a marble on the top, and the marble will just go around to the bottom. Everybody will play with the stupid thing.
That'd be cool.
No, that would be
fun. I like that. The bottom has to like satisfyingly fit the marble, though.
Like a click or something, or
like, well, just that, like, you know, whatever the center is, it just like lands well. You know what I mean?
All right. Good point. Good point.
Okay, I'm going to actually combine quite a few questions that I've been seeing, and I've been starring them as we go, but they all generally are relating to the same thing. So it's about the longevity of epoxy. How long does it last? Does it warp over time? Is it good outside? How long will it last?
Okay, it'll last forever. Will it warp? It can if you keep it in too hot. And when I say too hot, I mean if you have it out in the sun and it's not, supported properly. Yeah, it's epoxy. If it heats back up, it'll start to warp and get soft, so to speak, again. Will it yellow? Yes, all epoxy will yellow. I don't care what brand you use. Having said that, that's why I use Super Clear. For one of the reasons is because theirs is probably the best at avoiding yellowing for longer. They've got UV protectors in theirs as well. But no matter what, I don't care who it is, all epoxy will yellow with UV exposure over time. That is why if you are going to do something outside or that's going to be exposed to a lot of UV, do not do clear. As long as you're opaque, you don't care if it yellows or not. You're not ever going to see it. But do not do clear if you're going to have it exposed to UV, because it will yellow at some point.
So what about inside where it's not exposed?
As long as it's inside and not exposed, then it'll be just fine. But keep in mind, UV light is everywhere.
Okay.
Yep. Hope that helps.
Let's see. Following along that clear and visible line, are there any tricks to keeping epoxy clear and visible? Terry created a 3D carving and a cutting board, and he wants to do clear epoxy over it. It's about a 1/2 inch deep.
Yeah, exactly what I said on that other one. If it's in the middle, there is a little trick you'll have to do if your epoxy is surrounded by wood. You do not want to wet sand your wood. You also do not want to sand your wood up to 5,000 grit. So you're going to have to put some kind of a tape to seal that off. And if you use painter's tape, which is what I use, just know that you're probably going to have to change it several times during the sanding process, because your sander is inevitably going to hit it and start chipping it away, and you don't want that. So, yep, just make sure you tape it off, and same process as I mentioned a second ago.
Okay. I want to bring in a couple comments here. First one is video list Easy Create. Okay, so Easy Create is a 3D AI tool that Vectric puts out. And Rich, I have a video on that. Julianne will link that. It's you'll be surprised it tells you how to work with it. And actually, these were done on Easy Create from that video. This wizard here and me, right? Picture of me. This is done from an image. This is done from an AI prompt. So watch that video. And Kate brought up, Greg loved the combo about the ATC. She's in production with her stacking platforms, and it's exhausting changing the bits. So Kate is making project. She's in production now, and she's in our discussions. She's got 2 challenges she's dealing with, and maybe you can give some advice here, not just for her, but for some other people. So her 2 challenges are getting the I guess is speed, of course. When you're in production, you want speed and consistency, right? So part of speed is the bit change. Part of speed is your fixturing, your nesting. When she's coming in with raw lumber, you know, she has to surface it. She's got her planer, but so she has that. And then the other thing is her tools. I think the material she's using is red oak on this, and she's tending to get a lot of blackening of her bits. They don't feel like they're lasting that long in the red oak. So part of her challenge is her spindle. She needs a more powerful spindle. But anyway, so we got 2 things there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what. I'm pretty sure she's got a Onefinity. I don't know which one, and I don't know if she has a router. Yeah, Kate, do you have a router?
She has a spindle. She has one. I think it's a 1.5. It looks like a smaller 1.5 kilowatt. I just gave her a 2.2, but she's still running at 110, so it's still not cranking out the power that it could. So she's going to upgrade to 220 so she can get that.
Yeah, that'll definitely help. And if you get you a tool changer, Rapid Change has a tool changer specifically for the Onefinity. And also, they are about to come out with a rotary tool changer for the one. It's going to be for other ones, but the one that swings is actually specifically for the Onefinity machine. It mounts on the front of the QCW table. It actually swings in, and it rotates to change the bits, and then swings back out of the way, so it takes up 0 bed space as well.
Yay!
Those are coming out pretty soon, I believe. I don't think they're on their website yet, but they're coming out soon.
Okay.
They're going to be around $1,500, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is what they said. But I think it holds up to 12 bits. But yeah, you'll save a ton of time doing that. And another thing, Kate, too, if you're doing the same type projects like that in the same shapes over and over again, you need to look at getting the airweight system and making you fixture plates for those projects. That is so super fast. If you're doing the same shape over and over again, once you get that fixture plate cut out for your design, it's pop it on, cut it out, pull it out. It is super fast.
Kate, talk to me. Call me tomorrow. We'll talk about the airweight system. I got them right here.
All right. Pop in a couple more of these lovely questions. Raymond, just on the same note of our get-togethers and conventions, who's going to be attending the Vectric get-together in Nashville? Well, that's this guy and that girl down there.
Yep. And then Texas Woodworking. So, Greg, will you be at the Vectric show?
Unfortunately, no. I'll be in Orlando at a work conference.
Okay. And then Texas Woodworkers, the ladies will be there. You're going to be there?
I will be there for that, yes.
Okay. I feel like I'm missing out on something by not going to that one.
It's great. I was there last year, and it was really good.
Yeah, they got it in command. They got it under control. It's actually really cool to have a team where I can say, guys, this is your ball game. Go for it. And they make all kinds of contacts and stuff, and they come back, and it's like, yeah, I got the right people on board.
Okay, just really quickly. I don't know if this was in reference to what somebody else said, but 8th Center comes in with, are you getting good prices on walnut where you are?
I do, and I can help you out if you are close to Atlanta. Yes, I pay about $8.50, $9 a board foot for black walnut.
I couldn't tell you how much we pay for material. Garrett goes to Lowe's and says, emailed the receipt, and Liberty goes and says, here's the receipt, and all I see is wood sizes in this.
Yeah, when it comes to Lowe's, I'm buying either the pine. I mean, they don't have much. They got poplar, they got pine, they got oak. It's kind of a quick and dirty. But we also go to our local mill, Tiny Tippers, and they've got all kinds of beautiful wood.
I love going through their like cutoffs or scrap area essentially.
Yeah.
And it's just, a bunch of even quite a bit decent sized stuff. It's just not their 8, 10, 12 foot boards. So they can't sell it or it's, even a kind of, not like the highest quality of live edge pieces, but some live edge pieces and stuff like that. And I was like going through there and just being like, all right, like this one, that one. And they've got them like $8 for this one, $15 for this one, $5 for that one. And it's just for a random board foot,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So folks, look at it this way. If you are in any part of the States, and that's as far as I know, the States that actually has trees around, like you're not in the desert, you can find a mill somewhere reasonably close to you where they will take lumber, they'll rough it out, and then they'll, sell it out from there. You can also look on Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes you find it there as well. Also, I've seen people go to places where they actually make product from raw lumber, and then they have all the scrap that they don't know what to do with. Nice pieces. Sometimes they'll have really nice wood like Purple Hearts, but they just got these small pieces it doesn't fit their business.
Yeah.
Right? They'll sell it to you for a dime.
I've seen Liberty dismantle furniture and use it.
Old furniture. You take an old table that somebody doesn't want.
There will be real wood desks and nightstands and shelves for $5, $10, $15 at Goodwill or the Restore or whatever, or at a garage sale. And it's like, well, that's, 25 cents per board foot if I can make something out of it. So I'll do it.
Right.
Very good. Okay. Now, Jeff is asking, what are the best types of bits to use when carving out epoxy wood combos to prevent epoxy chip out?
CNC bits. No joke, Jeff. Just your regular CNC bits. They carve just fine. Just remember, like I said earlier about chip out, you don't want to run in epoxy as fast as you do in wood because it will chip. How much is the question? The faster you run it, the more it's going to chip. But it's also kind of like acrylic. You don't want to run super slow either because it'll heat up and it'll start melting.
So what's like, do you have a set speed that would be a good start to run?
Yeah, I would say now again, this number is going to depend on what machine you have. If you've got a little desktop machine, this is going to be too much. But 120 to 150 is probably about as fast as I would run. Maybe 200, but that would be absolutely max. And that's even if I'm running it on the Avid. I won't go over 200 with carbon and epoxy.
Okay. Blaze, do you have a recommendation for a good starter kit? And what about UV epoxy curing?
I am not a super big fan of the UV epoxies when it comes to filling stuff, I guess I would say. UV epoxies are okay if you're doing it as a finish, I think, and that's just my personal opinion. I know people who do use UV epoxy to fill small holes, and I guess in that aspect, it'd probably work okay. But yeah, no, my starter kit would be jump over to Super Clear, get you just a small kit. You want to play around with it. I would recommend starting off with the art resin, and just playing around with it. Do not pour deeper than 1/4 inch, and just play around with it a little bit, and then see what you want to do from there.
Should they be prepared to scrap?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, don't be mad. You're going to screw stuff up. I still do today. I mean, come on. You're going to waste epoxy.
Just want to make sure.
Yes.
So I want to bring up their website so we can tell them exactly which one.
SuperEpoxySystems.com.
So super, okay. EpoxySystem.com. Okay, there we go. Oh, I typed in it wrong.
Systems. Super Epoxy Systems.
Okay.
Well,
sure I did.
well, Garrett, while he's bringing that up, I want
there
to
we
pop
go.
this question in afterwards.
Okay.
Because you mentioned jewelry. And I think this is a good one. There we go. Dusty said he's making a project for his daughter using her grandmother's jewelry in pictures of her, 24 by 18, about 2 inches deep. What type of epoxy should I use? And should I seal the jewelry and pictures?
So yes, absolutely seal them. Your pictures, you're going to have to use something a little different. They make a product called Mod Podge. Yeah, you can get it at any craft place. You need to do a few coats of that on top of it before you do it. Be careful about securing the picture down. Don't use your first instinct CA glue. It will bleed through the picture.
Good to know.
Use some type of little small spray adhesive or something like that, and it doesn't take a ton of it. And yeah, I would pour, if I'm going to do 2 inches deep, is it, Dustin, maybe you can throw in there in the comments, is it going to be clear? I'm assuming since you're putting pictures. If it is, I would highly recommend doing a small pour using art resin first, and then scuffing that up and pouring your deeper clear on top of it.
How much do you scuff up when you're layering?
Just as far as how much of the project or what grit?
Like what grit?
Like 220.
Okay.
Just enough to give it a little bit of a scratch.
All right.
Sorry, let me finish real quick that part of it. If you have the time, the ideal thing to do though would be when that bottom layer gets super tacky, then pour that deep pour. You don't have to scratch it up, and you actually get a chemical bond as opposed to a mechanical bond, which is even better. All right, go ahead, Garrett. Show that.
Okay. So we're on the website, and someone was asking about a starter kit. And I also saw someone had asked about, I guess, best one to start with a table pour or something like that. While we're here, Julianne, whatever questions you've seen, we'll pop through here so we can tell them what to start with. So where would we find the best starter kit that you suggest, Greg?
Yeah, just go to shop and go to your epoxies.
Okay.
And then go to the art resin. This is, I like the art resin is a really good thing to start with. It's a little more, it's a little less viscous than the tabletop, just meaning it's thinner. Use it. It still has the same rules, same mixture as the tabletop, but it's just a little thinner. And just grab you any one of those kits. I mean, if you're not sure, get you the 2-quart kit, maybe the 1-pint kit. If you're pretty sure you're going to get into it, go ahead and grab the gallon kit.
Whoops. Yeah. So it only came up with this 5-gallon thing. So
Art resin. No, it's scroll down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just click on that.
Click on what?
Oh, your screen changed. You gotta click. There you go. Click on the product.
Okay.
There you go. Then you can pick there's a 2-gallon kit, 1 gallon, 2-quart, 1 pint.
So what should they start with?
I would probably say start with the 2-quart. I think that'd be fine. to get you started.
Okay.
It's it's small containers. It's a 1-to-1 mix ratio. Yeah, start with that and go from there.
Okay. Do we have an affiliate link for Greg for this?
Yes.
Okay, so
That's the one where the affiliate link wasn't working, but my code for you. So I'm glad you said that, Garrett. So it says 10% off your first order. However, you'll get 15% off because when you put in my code, also you get it on top of anything they're offering.
Oh.
Okay, so folks, if you get it, there's the link for that. I just put it in the thing, and Julianne, I'm going to give it to her, and she'll put it into the description of the video.
Mm-hmm. Will do.
Live edge look, but we do upload.
So Mike sounds like he has a fun project here. He said, if I'm doing an inlay with multiple colors of epoxy, how long should I wait before carving the next color?
I'm assuming, Mike, you're doing with art resin or tabletop. You need to wait a full 24 hours before you start carving into it because it really does need to cure before you start carving into it. And also keep in mind, if you're doing multiple colors and you're not getting rid of the wood between them, you need to overlap your lines. So you need to set an offset in your program to overlap those lines. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a sliver of wood showing in between them if you don't do that.
Okay. Now, I know we were talking about grits and their sanding and buffing. What grits do you go up to? What compounds do you prefer in that micron range if you use them?
Like I said, I usually always go up to, well, so it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm going for I'll say matte look, meaning I don't want the epoxy to be super shiny because I want the focus on the wood, then I will not sand the epoxy any higher than I sand the wood. And then when I put finish on it, it gives that epoxy kind of a matte top finish, or it accentuates the wood a little more and the wood grain pops. If you're wanting a super shiny, you follow the steps I said earlier. Wet sand from 600 grit up to minimum 2,000, up to 5,000, and then polish.
Gotcha. All right. We've got a couple a couple questions referring to air bubbles, the best way to keep them out, and where did that go? I lost it. And do you use a vacuum chamber to remove the bubbles before you pour, or is that overkill?
Yeah, so yes. The first question was what was that? Keeping the air bubbles out?
Yeah, best way to keep the air bubbles out.
Stirring and mixing appropriately will help keep them out. So when you're mixing your 1-to-1 ratio epoxies, whether it be art resin or tabletop, never use power. Always use your hand, or not your hand, but a stick, and stir slow, 5, 6, 7 minutes. I know it's going to get boring. You'll really understand how long 5 minutes really is. But keep that and make sure you scrape the sides and don't whip it. If you whip it, you're going to get air bubbles. And those epoxies, they cure fast, and you will not allow any time for those air bubbles to get out. And if you have them in volume while you're stirring, you can't put them in a vacuum chamber either because they'll wind up curing or starting to cure before you can get them out. So stir slow. On your deep pour epoxies, you can absolutely use a paddle mixer, which that's what I use. And do you have to use a vacuum chamber? No, you do not have to. I do, because I like to start with no bubbles in it. That way there's no bubbles in it. But deep pour epoxy is designed to allow for the bubbles to escape because of how long it takes it to cure. If you're pouring, somebody mentioned a table, if you're pouring a large volume, you need to make sure the room is cool so you can allow that epoxy to cure over the longest amount of time. I have the room right next to me over here is my epoxy pour room. I have a mini split in that room, and that room stays when I'm pouring at about 67 degrees. and that allows the epoxy to cure slowly and let the bubbles escape.
So this is kind of funny. Can the curing process be slowed by putting it in the fridge, the freezer, or outside in a Michigan winter?
It absolutely can. It really can.
Is there a temperature at which it won't cure?
No, it will cure. Matter of fact, BM Sculptures, he's got a YouTube channel. He does some amazing epoxy sculptures.
Oh my gosh. Stuff.
I've seen that joker pour 10 inches deep, which is not recommended by any epoxy company. Super Clear has the deepest pour in one shot, and that's 4 inches. But even then, you got to be careful. But he's done 8, 10, 12 inches deep, and he actually puts his molds down in a deep freezer to let them cure. So yeah, you can do that for sure.
All right. So we only have about 5 minutes left. So let's do rapid fire answers. We'll try to knock out as many as we can here, folks. We're going to try to get to as many questions as we can, but I don't think we're going to make it all the way through.
Okay, go.
Awesome. All right. Bob, if I want to put an epoxy image in the bottom of a tray, how deep do I need to make the pocket?
Deeper than the picture.
Okay. All right. Miles, I use Hobby Lobby clear ornament spheres for making decorative paperweights for work. I pour them upside down in layers to add the effects like rocks, etc. Should I use deep pour?
Not if you're going to do that. No.
Okay. Liberty. Troy wants to know if you know of a good deal on mica powder.
I don't know of a good deal. I'll just tell you my 2 favorite ones that I've worked with so far is Black Diamond, and I just got the 24-pack of colors from Total Boat Epoxy, and I worked with their epoxies for the first time last weekend, and so yeah, love those.
Liberty, I'm going to send you a box of eye candy pigments.
He has a whole shelf.
Just so you know,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we are going to be working to get epoxy into IDC Woodcraft.
All right. Tommy, when doing photo V-carves in wood, the downcut Groovy Jenny works great for clean and strapped lines. If doing it on epoxy, do you recommend going with a standard upcut V-bit?
Nope. I use the 60-degree Jenny as well.
Okay. All right.
We'll link that in here. I'll go get the link while she does this.
Yes. Why is Aspire cut times off 6x8 photo when it says 3 hours? Okay, I'm not sure on this one.
You probably don't have it set up with your machine acceleration in your settings. If you go into the machine or the menu there, you can actually put your machine acceleration and all that information in if you know it, and it will give you more accurate times. That's in VCarve and Aspire.
Cool. All right. Lori wants to know, do you ever use a planer to surface epoxied charcuterie boards instead of the CNC machine?
No.
Okay. All right.
Is there a reason why?
They'll chip out.
Figured so.
Gotcha. Brimus, has anyone tried the new Vectric Spark for Mac? All right, I had to throw that one in there because I'm a Mac user. So
my dad's a Mac user, so I can steal his computer at some point.
No, when we're down at the show with them, we'll talk to them about it.
There you go.
Cool.
Test it out.
All right.
Smart move. They made it work for Mac.
Is epoxy food safe?
Once it is completely cured, yes. However, don't cut on it because chips, you don't want to eat chips.
Yeah. All right. And then Ed, doing a clear flood on a charcuterie board, how do you handle the runoff to get a clean, sharp edge on the bottom?
I use the same tape I use for my molds. When I build my own molds, I put it around the bottom of the board, and that way, once you're done, you can just peel it off, or you can flip it over and sand the bottom.
Okay.
Right,
before we go on, real quick, folks, if you've gotten something out of the show, you've enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button below the video here. And so Greg will be at IWF, and he'll be there the whole time. Then he's going to stop by the Carveco show afterward. Julianne and I will be at the Carveco thing. We will not be at IWF this year. And what else? Onefinity is still having their summer sale, so go upgrade your CNC. We'll put the link in there. It's going to be in the description of the video as well. Anything else?
I bet.
Yep. Also, we talked about if you want to get into business, right, and you're serious about it, right, then Greg is part of a company that actually does training for business, kind of geared around you guys with the CNC, but it's really not CNC. They teach business. They don't teach CNC business, but they will lead you in that direction, right? So I always endorse that kind of training because business is a very different mindset.
If you're at IWF and you want to say, hey, come find Super Clear's booth, I will be there most of the time. And if I'm not there, ask Alan where I am. He can shoot me a text and I can come meet you.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm going to throw Ellen's last question in here. I need new bits. When is the sale? Labor Day. 5th through the
Maybe
7th, I
Yep.
believe. The Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Labor Day weekend.
Yep.
So, yay!
David is going to IWF first time. You will be overwhelmed, my friend. You will be
Come say
overwhelmed.
hello.
It's
Yep.
awesome.
My email address is in the description.
Yep. Greg's
Somebody
YouTube
else.
channel's in the description. All the links that we have, we've thrown them in the description as well, or they will be in the description.
Everything's all there. And if I missed anything, just shoot a Garrett or Greg an email. I was gonna say, we thank you guys for another wonderful evening. We are sorry if we did not get to all of your questions. However, Greg is quite a regular occurrence on our show, so we will definitely have him back again. We hope to see you all at some of the coming up. I want to say meet and greets because that's pretty much what they are for all of us. We'll see you. We'll talk to you. Come say hi. So we'll leave you for tonight, but we'll see you again next week on Wednesday. See it at the shows we're going to be at, and always a pleasure, you guys.
See y'all.
Bye.